Hello and welcome to the newest episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. Today's guest is my first indie pop singer-songwriter and producer from Spain. His new EP, Lavanda, is out now, and you need to go check it out on all streaming platforms. Before we get the episode started, please make sure to like and subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And don't forget to follow me at Parker Whirling and at On That Note _podcast on Instagram. And on that note, please welcome Samuel Petra. I'm sitting here with Samuel Petra, an indie pop singer-songwriter and producer based out of Alicante, Spain. I heard your newest EP, Lavanda, with the single Nobody More. I love that song. I heard it on Spotify's Fresh Finds indie playlist. That EP was released October 5th, so not too long ago. I usually like to start these podcasts asking about the writing and the recording process behind your newest release. So I would love to know a little bit more about your process going into this, and maybe if there was a different approach with this project than your previous releases.
Thanks for having me here and shit. Oh, by the way, can I curse?
Absolutely. Totally fine. Yeah.
Okay, because like cursing is like my way of like filling the gaps I usually have, because I'm still trying to figure out how to properly talk in English still. So
Well, cursing is a big part of English, so you're good to go there.
sweet. So I don't know, like, what do you want me to tell you about like the project in general? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'd love to know about basically if there were any differences between recording this or writing this or even releasing the Lavanda EP compared to maybe your previous releases. Was there anything different that you had in mind going into it, or was there anything different just that happened while you were making it?
I mean, yeah, I think so. Lavanda is like a project that have more energy than the previous projects that I have. Like, for instance, like Fluid Like Fever. When I recorded like Fluid Like Fever, which was like an EP that I made like at the beginning of this year, like I was sort of in a really bad environment, so it was like super weird to write it, you know. But Lavanda is like super energetic. I was feeling really comfortable with just writing the whole stuff, and I don't know, like like for this project I took like more punk influences and stuff, which was cool for me, because like I grew up like listening, well, it's not like I grew up listening to bands or anything like that, but like my first taste of music was like I don't know, bands like Linkin Park and stuff, so that was cool. So
Yeah, Nobody More seems to have a little bit more of a punk influence than the rest of your stuff.
yeah, it's not like super screaming stuff, like nothing super crazy, but it definitely, like, I don't know, I saw people like Gene Dawson and, you know, all these people who are like taking some like they're doing their thing in the revival movement of the punk thing, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I would like to try to hop on that, you know, and do like my little thing, you know.
Yeah, we all have something unique to offer and put on the table when it comes to music and maybe genres within music. That's funny you mentioned Gene Dawson. I think he's amazing, and when I first heard Nobody More, that was actually one of the first artists who popped into my mind. I was like, oh wow, this seems like a really similar vibe. And I think that's a really cool thing happening right now, is he in general blends so much between hip hop and pop and punk and like pop punk. It's really interesting to see where things are going. Do you feel like there is a certain direction you're going to take going into the future, or are you kind of just really open-minded right now?
I mean, yeah, I think I'm pretty much open-minded right now. Another thing I wanted to mention about like Lavanda is that what was it? Fuck. it was really, oh yeah. So actually, like the project, like it sort of like came out of me, just like it was like a pure impulse, the whole process of making the EP, because you, like you said, it's just like a fusion of multiple stuff. I don't even know like how many stuff I fusion in the project. um I also like use a lot of electronic uh instruments and stuff, because like I actually, like, most part of the journey that I've been making music has been making electronic music. Like I started back in uh to like, it was back 8 years ago or something like that, and I was like making electronic music like for 4 years or something like that. So yeah, I mean, even though I'm not into electronic music anymore, it's like I'm still like using some references of like, and some influences about, like, of electronic music and stuff. So yeah, that's another
It's
thing.
it's cool when things that maybe you don't listen to as much anymore, or maybe you just throw it on occasionally. Sometimes those things do have such a like an imprint on the way you listen to music and the way you produce music, and it can be totally subconscious. It's not maybe
Yeah,
something that you really go for, but it just shows up in your music and you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of interesting.
yeah, and in a way it's like you have to kind of accept it, because like that's the way you are. Like um you have like a period that you're kind of molding yourself, you're kind of like building your sound and stuff, and you can always like upgrade that and change some things, and maybe just add new things. But in general, like, there are things, like you said, that just will always be there, and it is kind of hard to change it, because it's like your essence. So yeah.
Yeah, something you just said that kind of hit me was the idea of accepting who you are. And that's such a big part of being an artist, being honest with yourself and being honest in the work that you do. But sometimes it can be hard to accept something you've written or accept something that in the production that happens. Was there any moment that comes to mind over the last however many years you've been making music where you maybe were a little worried about what you had just made? Like maybe it wasn't how you turned out. You wanted it to turn out, but it did turn out uh, cool. It just wasn't exactly what you expected.
I mean, yeah, I that happens to me like all the time, pretty much like every single fucking day. It's like I make a project and I have like a thing in mind, or maybe I don't have a thing in mind. I just want to do something that like comes out of me, and turns out that it's just not it. It's not the vibe. And you kind of uh, analyze yourself, like what happened, and sometimes it is what you said, like you are not being like 100% true with yourself, but maybe you are being true with yourself, but you kind of need to reinvent yourself in a way. And sometimes you have to be aware, like, of which situation you are. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely a thing that I'm actually like thinking recently, because it's like, um I mean, yeah, I think pretty much every single musician have this struggle right here. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, recently, what have you been thinking in terms of what we were just talking about?
uh what do you mean?
Like, is there a song or projects you're working on right now that aren't released that you're trying to figure out maybe what the direction is, or is there something that you're trying to work on that maybe could be a roadblock?
100%, like, um I mean, my project folder is always 80% stuff that it just stinks, and like 10% of stuff that I trust. that it could go somewhere, you know. But even if I trust that it could go somewhere, um it's like I'm not fully convinced, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. Actually, like one of my goals is trying to make a project that I feel like 100% comfortable with, and that I just go like, this is perfect. Let me put out this thing. But I honestly think that it's kind of hard, if not impossible.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It seems impossible for any artist to be 100% comfortable and excited about the project they release, especially when it's been a lot of time after you made it for the first time. Um, was there, like, how do you know that a project or a song that you're about to release is hitting that mark for you? Like, is there a specific feeling you're looking for? Is there a
Yeah.
moment where you know?
Okay, so usually, um like there are multiple things that I need to, like, I need to satisfy myself in multiple ways, you know. There's like the vibe, like the the quality of it, and there's also like, is this like surprising myself in a way? Is this like sounding super generic, or is it like making any difference in a way? So if if like one of these things is not going in the way I want to, it's like, it's not hitting there, you know. I still need to work on other project, or try to, I don't know, change completely the idea of this one. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with surprising yourself. That's always been something for me when I go back and listen to something, either a day later or even a couple hours later after giving it a break, and hearing it for the first time again and thinking, whoa, this is something that I can say I made. Like, usually I would just be excited if I heard this from anyone else.
You feel this, like the serotonin, like right there. It's like, oh, hell yeah, I made this, right?
Right. Yeah,
um
it is a surprising feeling.
yeah. And have you ever like opened up like a project from, I don't know, maybe a long time ago, and felt like, this was actually pretty good. I don't
Yeah.
know why I thought this was trash. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
a really weird feeling, because like sometimes you just like, I mean, at least that happens to me. It's like, I usually trust a lot in my perspective, but I know it could be distorted sometimes. But sometimes I just try to be objective. Um, and sometimes I'll just be like, this beat is trash. It's not good.
I'd say more often for me, I'm like, what was I thinking with this? Like, this is
Exactly.
awful.
But then like, you wait some time, and you realize your vision was even more distorted that you could think of. It's yeah, it's surprising for me. But yeah, I still feel that, even though I feel that that previous project is good, like I can understand why I thought it was not there yet at the moment. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny to listen back to something you were working on a year ago or a couple years ago, and it almost immediately takes you back to the frame of mind you were in at that time.
Yeah,
And that,
I actually had a terrible experience. Like, I lost like around 1,000 projects
oh
one
my
time.
God.
Yeah, I know, that's a lot of projects. And yeah, that really pissed me off, because it's like, yeah, projects are there are always there to just bring you back to that time, you know, to bring you back to the moment you were making it. You know, it kind of like the feeling of making it, and like your surrounding at the time, like it kind of pops up, and you have that nostalgic feeling of just being in that situation in that moment. So that's, yeah.
It is very frustrating when that happens. I was on a plane and I spilled a mimosa on my computer. And it was so embarrassing. And I was trying to like clean it off, and everyone was looking at me like I'm an idiot. And I
Oh
got
my God.
home and I just didn't even want to open my computer. I was so nervous that it was fucked. And it was fucked. And I was able to rescue some stuff from it through like this recovery thing, but most of it was pretty much destroyed. And I was like, oh, that sucks. And I wasn't even going to go back to any of them anyway to like release anything, but I was just pissed that, I'll never be able to hear some of those tracks again. I think about now, there's a couple beats that I want to go back to just to listen to them. And
Yeah.
it's not happening. They're not backed up anywhere.
Yeah, because the part of just like, oh my God, I lost this project I was about to release. I mean, you can do like new projects, and like the new project will be probably better than that one. But like the part of just like, oh, I wanted this, to just go back in time. That hurts. That hurts,
Exactly.
man. That sucks. I feel bad for you.
I feel like everyone has a moment like that where they just have a complete panic attack or a meltdown because even if it does get saved, you at least now know what it's like to almost lose everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely sucks.
Do you have a specific song that you are really proud of that you've released, whether it was on Lavanda or a previous project?
Um, yeah, I mean, I have songs where I um exceeded like my limits in a way, and even though I don't think they are like my favorite projects yet, I still feel very comfortable with the fact that I put it out. For instance, like cortisol, I really like the production of cortisol, and I also like too many hours from float like fever, which is kind of sad because like I think sick feels got more attention than too many hours, but too many hours was like more personal, and yeah, like the idea and the whole production of it was like came out of me, um like in a really pure way. It was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like I don't, it was not like, let me do a record that sounds good. No, it was like, let me just do this.
Right.
I remember just like walking, and I was in the UK, and I was just like uh, coming up with lyrics and just recording it in my voice notes. So that was that was nice. Yeah, too many hours. Yeah, I like that song.
It's cool when you do give yourself that feeling of you're almost witnessing the purity of your own creation. Like it's like a part of you didn't really maybe know was there, and you're discovering it. And then it's an equally weird feeling when that song doesn't really get the same love from the audience as another one, because you can still be grateful that any of your songs at all is getting attention. But when it's not the one that you really thought was so personal to you, it's kind of
Yeah,
a weird balancing act.
actually, now that you're saying that, it sounds like it's one of those things that you just go like, oh my God, that's actually really typical. Like that happens a lot,
Yeah.
and I don't know. It's like I really hate typical things because it's um like when I was a little kid, I was like, bro, like I don't want to be a human. I want to be like, I don't want to die. I rather think that I'm just like a robot inside, and and that's it. But like you grow up and you realize that a lot of things that happen to you are like pretty much super typical. Like everything, it's like it happens to everyone, and
Yeah.
yeah, you're not living like a incredible life. Like you're not living like a alternative thing from other people or anything like that. No, I mean everything you do is super typical, and everything that will happen to you, it's pretty much like it pretty much happened to other people. So yeah, I don't know.
You definitely have to be, I mean, even even the biggest of the biggest rock stars or politicians or anyone,
Even that,
they're you're
but
all
I
going
mean,
through the same experiences, you know?
even even that, like, I bet that they are like, holy shit, this thing is happening again, like every single fucking day. I don't know.
Right. It's a
I
very
don't know.
weird thing knowing that we all have the same human experience, but I think that's why when you are so personal and honest in your music, it connects with people in a deeper way than if you were to write something that didn't come from such a personal place.
Right, right.
Do
I
you
mean, I
have
agree with that.
yeah, do you have any advice for artists when it comes to starting to release their own music? I know a lot of artists who are maybe not confident enough quite yet to release something, or they're struggling with getting themselves to get there. Is there any advice you'd have for somebody like that?
I mean, it's like your question is different from uh, do you like your question is different from do you have an advice for musicians in general,
Right.
right?
It's more
So
of
I
for like the beginner.
right. So I would say I was stuck like for 2 years uh, because I was afraid that I couldn't come up with like a solid idea. Um, and and I remember like when quarantine started, like the real quarantine, I was like, yo, I mean, if I don't put out anything, like I would probably like this like my whole life, or until I would need to stop making music and do another thing. So I was like, okay, let me just put out a song and see what happens. And this is the thing, like it kind of like I kind of realized that um that thing of putting out music was not a habit for me at that time, and putting out just like a song that like I didn't really like that song. I actually took it out from Spotify and the streaming platforms and all that stuff. But it was super important for me because um, it was my way of um, converting uh, that thing into an habit. Okay,
Yes.
let me put another song, and I put out Slide, which is an R&B song, R&B pop song, which is cool, but it was not the vibe was not there yet, but when I started like putting my little thing in my music, like my when I was trying to be a little bit more honest, which was like in the Flug Like Fever project, I was able to put it out because I was not afraid uh, that maybe it's not the thing that I want to do or anything like that. So yeah, I would say just don't um, I don't know, don't try to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but also um, I mean, if I have to give like an advice in general, is like, I don't know, just enjoy the journey and also try to surprise yourself, because it's like um, I mean, I believe that people are more common that um, we actually think. Um, like it can really surprise you how many things you have in common with someone you like, that it looks that is like super different from you. And I think that since music is a language, if you can understand like what you just did, and it really surprises you, like there are people out there that will probably have the same feelings you. So yeah, I think that's really super important.
Absolutely. All great pieces of advice. I love what you said about don't worry about it being perfect. I think that's a big thing that gets in people's way. I know it was for me. And when you do release that first project, one thing to understand, two things to understand what you said, it being something that gets you in the habit of doing it. I think it's when you haven't done it before, the odds of you doing it later are less. But if you do it
Yes,
now, you've had that experience, and I think you kind of get that bug. It like gives you the itch to do it again. And the other thing to understand is that that first thing, even if you really like it right now, there's a really solid chance that in a year, maybe even less, you're going to look back at it and think, oh, I could have done this different. I could have done that different. But that's why you keep releasing stuff, because
exactly,
it's always going to get better, hopefully, because you'll
exactly.
learn from these things.
I mean, yeah, there are artists who put out stuff, and like this stuff are like super great. This stuff is like mixed by really professional people, like mastered by um engineers and stuff, and like the songwriting is very good, and the production overall, well, I mean, yeah, there are people who release music and it sounds just amazing, but I don't know, maybe for like these people, this music is actually not there yet. I mean, they probably also needed to um, make that effort, you know, to put out that song, and maybe they start evolving from there, you know.
Right. And like something that strikes me is the first song you released that, well, one, it's funny you took it off the streaming platform, because sometimes you look back at it and you're like, nah, this has got to go. But even before that, you had 8 something years of experience making electronic music under your belt. And when somebody sees somebody's first single, they're not thinking about all the 8 years of lessons you had to learn recording and mixing and doing all that. They just see the one song and they're like, oh shit, he's always been this good. But in reality, there's so much time and effort spent to get to that point.
That's true. I mean, there was so much. I mean, I've made thousands and thousands of projects, maybe not completed, but like I was producing like for, I don't know, 8 years. So it's like, yeah, you said it, like the people don't usually think about that. And you as an artist, you have to be aware of that. Sometimes people just be like, um, no, I mean, I've been working in the industry like 10 years and I work hard every single day. I wake up in the morning, and I just go back. I mean, sometimes you just got to be efficient more than hard worker. Try to just um, see what is going on, what is doing the other people, and try to analyze what are, yeah, pretty much try to analyze what the people you like, the people you want to be like is doing, you know, because if you're just like hard working every single fucking day, and you would just be like, no, I mean, I have this background and all that stuff, I mean, that doesn't mean anything. So
Yeah,
so
you got
yeah,
to work smart, not work hard all the time.
yeah, for sure.
One thing I want to get into before we go to the last five is the fact that you've got 3 music videos out, Nobody More, Photograph, and Cortisol. And on top of having 3 great music videos out that are super fun, beautiful colors, you uh, you
Thank
you
you so
directed
much.
all of them, which is crazy. So
Yes.
that's not a small task. How does that work? Directing all of your own music videos.
um I mean, yeah, I don't think there are like, I don't think the music videos are like super professional, of course. I mean, I literally had no experience at all with recording music videos and stuff. So, like, I remember at the beginning of this year, uh, my managers managed to get like a deal, and we were like, okay, we can do these 2 things. Like, we could pay like a director to do like a little video for one song, like recording just uh like in one day, or you could buy the equipment and try to do it yourself. And you know, I I honestly, I'm pretty afraid of just like doing something and that it doesn't come up as like the way I want it. So like after thinking about it and stuff, like we went with the second option, just getting the whole equipment. And I remember I was like, while I was doing music, I was actually also just trying to figure out like where is the equipment we needed. Like I was studying like basic things of like film, like some camera movements or color grading as well. um and yeah, I mean, we kind of managed to like do it just like with two or three people. So yeah.
It's amazing what you can do when you make that investment, right? And I think that's a smart decision because all that money could have gone to one person to do something that probably would have been really good, or you could make the
That's right.
investment in yourself, and now you can get 3 music videos and more because you have this equipment and you're constantly learning every time you make one, and it's just going to get better and better. And eventually, if it was something you wanted to do, you can make music videos for other people. So it's like the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought. It just sounded so good to me to just own the camera and be able to just like maybe record a session. And like the one I did, like I recorded like a cover in the beach one day. and and yeah, but I honestly think that um you as a person, like you are not able to specialize in like multiple things. uh I mean, you could spend your whole life trying to specialize in like multiple things, but I don't think it's worth it. To be honest, if I had the money, of course I would have hired like a director and stuff. And I'm actually like still looking forward to do it because I really like the visuals and stuff. So yeah, and I believe that yeah, a director would do it like 20 times better than me. But yeah, I mean, like uh, that was the thing that happened with the 3 videos that I made.
What's really cool about doing those is when you do start to have directors come in and do your own videos, you have so much experience in making them that it's going to be a lot easier for you to communicate with professionals who have dedicated their lives to this what you want. Whereas if you don't know how to communicate, it would be like going into a studio only knowing how to play guitar and sing and having never ever done anything with mixing or production. And there's plenty of people like that, and it's fine, but it's a lot easier to communicate with someone what you want if you've done that thing
That's true.
before.
That is true. I mean, there are people. Well, I'm saying there are people, but this is pretty much myself. Like, to be honest, I really like just doing everything by myself, and that is not a good thing. Like, usually, yeah, usually if you are smart, uh, it is so much better to just trust someone that you know it's good to do something that you are not able to do, because like the first step of you know uh just getting that quality is being aware of what you're capable of and what you are not. And if you know that, and you know that you need to take that step, you will definitely contact those people and start working with other people. So yeah, I think it's really important to be aware of that.
Yeah, it's important to surround yourself with people who are better than you and smarter than you because you're going to be able to take in that intelligence and you become smarter because of it. If you're the smartest one in the room, how much are you really learning?
Exactly, sir. Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
So yeah,
Awesome. Well, Sam, that's going to take us over to the last 5 here, where I'm just going to ask you 5 quick questions and we'll be done.
just
All
go
right.
ahead.
Question number 1, in the studio or playing live?
Okay, so there is no studio. I swear to God, it's just me, my little fucking laptop, and like a couple of more stuff. And live, like I haven't played live seriously, but I bet that I will really enjoy it. I'm still looking forward to do it for real, like this year. So I'm not sure. Maybe live. I will still have to
Yeah, you got to
see.
explore that area.
Yeah,
I love that
yeah.
you said you don't have a studio. It's just a computer and a microphone. And people need to know that. People need to know that you don't need a big fancy studio to make the kind of cool shit that you make.
I mean, yeah. I mean, thank you. And there are things that, as we were talking like before, is like it could be like so much better. But yeah, I mean, the only time I've been in a studio, I think it was like 2 years ago when I was studying in Barcelona. And yeah, it was because I was studying like the music, like the actual music was like done always with my computer. So yeah.
Question number 2 is, what do you think is a perfect album front to back?
Um. Wow. I was not expecting that.
You can name a few.
So, oh, so do you want me to like name actual albums?
I usually ask it that way, but some people like describe what a perfect album is, which is kind of cool too.
Okay, yeah, okay. I think I can describe it because like I don't know. I don't have like a list in my mind, but it would be. I think the best albums are like conceptual. You know, they are talking. It's like the there are multiple songs and like they correlate with each other. It's like this is maybe not a story, but it's a concept, you know? And you know, if you can follow up the vibe and if you can also put some dynamic but still uh preserving um that sense of the album, I think that's a great album. I don't know if that was a great
Yeah.
explanation. I think that was pretty
No, no,
terrible,
no, no. It
but
like when it's
yeah, I don't
cohesive,
know.
when an album is cohesive,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
feels like
that's true.
one
Yeah,
big living body of work instead of a disjointed amount of songs.
Exa- exactly. Because I honestly think it's super hard to be cohesive. Like for me, it's just super hard to be cohesive with two singles. I just yeah, for me it's like super crazy that someone can make an album about just the whole concept. I think
Yeah,
that's great.
it's incredibly impressive when somebody pulls it off. Question number 3 is, who would be a dream artist or producer to work with?
Usually people know this, like it comes like instantly, and I think I had the answer like a couple months ago. It was like I was listening to this artist and I was like, this one must be like this one should be the one, but I'm not sure. Like maybe um Dijon,
Oh, yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean yeah, he's such a great artist and he's like one of my favorites. And yeah, it would be super sick if I had the chance to just like only talk to him, to be
Yeah,
honest.
did you
So
like the new album?
yes, I do. It is really fucking good. It is so
I'm
good.
going to meet my friend for lunch after this, and it's his favorite album of 2021. So I'm going to tell him you said that. He's going to love that.
It is a it is a really good album. What is your like what is like your favorite song?
It's I'd be remiss to say I mean I love what is it? What was the single called? Um,
Many
yeah,
times.
many times. I mean, I loved that one. I
Man,
also loved the dress and is it
nice.
get down or let down? What is it? Talk
Talk
down.
down.
Yeah, those were the three that struck
Yeah.
me. I like the first song a lot, but I really like the video of it more. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like,
It's like 7 minutes instead of five, and it just really, really builds up, and it's fun to watch them play it.
yeah, I think you I think I can understand like why do you prefer it because it's like the whole vibe of the album is just like um live music,
Yes.
you know? And if you also like see them playing and stuff and you watch them like just feeling the music is so
Yeah.
contagious, you know?
Yeah. I think if I watched the whole movie they made, I would really have a different perspective on the whole album because I liked the album, but there were some songs that were definitely more standouts for me. But watching them do those songs, you see the love between all of them, and it just really adds so
Yeah.
much to it. Do you like McGee?
I've heard something but not too
Because he
much.
he was with
So,
them on that. I
yeah.
think he's.
Yeah.
I like McGee. Like I loved him, and I didn't really know Dijon until this album came out. Or I didn't really listen to him. So I've been more of a McGee fan, and then when I found out he was playing with Dijon, that's why I really wanted to start getting into Dijon.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. I don't remember how I found Dejan. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I found Mickey as well through this album, and yeah, he looks really talented as well. So I can understand.
Yeah, he's insane. I would definitely give his music a deep dive. I love his newest album, but his first one is the one that I think most people like get into first. At least that's how it was for me. And what's funny is the only artist you mentioned at the beginning of the interview was the person that I was thinking would be a dream artist or producer for you to work with, which was Gene Dawson.
Yeah, he's super cool. And he's INFT, which is a personality type I usually get along really well. um, but yeah, I don't know. I like Dijon. Like I have like too many memories with his music, so it's like
I
yeah.
see. Yeah, hard to separate that. Um, Question number 4 is what's on your musical rotation right now?
Um, I'm listening pretty much to like I'm listening a lot of stuff, but in general, some R&B, like some alternative R&B, maybe some uh how is it like I'm listening to J. Paul, for
Yeah.
instance. I'm listening to I don't know, just
Mm-hmm.
D'Angelo, some indie artists that I found. But I mean, yeah, a little bit of everything. I usually don't know what to say when someone asks me like what are you listening right now? It's like a mix of multiple stuff that I just found. But it's usually mostly like indie pop music and oh, Japanese breakfast also.
Yeah. Jubilee, right? That's
Yeah.
that album. That one's
Yes.
sick.
Yes.
The first
Yeah.
song always like I feel like it's putting me in such a place. It feels so good.
They are super super talented. And um I'm also listening to Juno by Remy
Oh
Wolf. I
yeah.
think she's buzzing so much, and I totally understand why. She's super talented. So
Yeah,
yeah.
she's a superstar. Like she's going to be huge. I mean, she's already made such a big impact, but I feel like she's only going up from here.
I totally agree. I mean, when I found her, it was like instant, like, oh my God, like you can hear that this is like super solid,
It's very
so yeah.
infectious.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, last question here. What is your favorite decade of music?
I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of like old music, and old music just referring to um the 90s, 80s.
Hmm.
Which makes me feel kind of bad because like I see all this artists that I really like just talking about Prince, just talking about I don't know, Michael Jackson, which I'm like, okay, yeah, I like a couple of songs that they made, but it's not like I'm listening to records,
Right.
you know. Um so I would say just like this last like decade. I mean, I've been really into electronic music, and I really like, yeah, it was pretty much the decade that got me into music. So I can really say, yeah, I love the 80s. I don't know. So no, I mean, yeah, I was really into this decade. So
I'm the same. That's my answer is the 2010s because that's really when I got super into music. And that's when I started
yeah, I
making
mean,
music. That's when it just became such a big part of my life that it's hard to not say the 2010s.
right. I mean, I don't know. You got Frank
Yep.
Ocean, you got like, I don't know.
Do you think we're getting a Frank Ocean album this year?
I don't know. I was actually thinking about this the other day. It was like I bet that he's just like, oh my god, like everything I've done is like so perfect that I don't want to mess it up. So I rather just not put out music.
I
So
know. That's such a scary thought.
I I think he's in that mood, and he's just be like, I don't need it. So like, why should I risk?
Yeah, I mean, if he never does
Let,
anything
let,
again, his career will always go down as like perfect.
sell, selling necklace, like diamond
Yeah,
necklace, or like, yeah, I don't know. He can do pretty much everything at this point because like he's so big. So yeah, but yeah, it would be great if he could keep up the work.
I hope so,
So
man. I'm hoping that we get something. Those when he was putting out those singles in the last couple of years, I really thought we were gonna get something soon, and that was like 2 years ago.
yeah, yeah.
And then apparently
I mean,
he just did a little
he
freestyle thing on his radio show, but I haven't listened to it.
yeah. I mean, likewise. Um, and yeah, I mean, yeah, I was about to say that he's pretty much. I think he's pretty much used to it. He's like he was actually like waiting like how many times, but I don't know. It's sort of a thing that he like waited till he was out of his record deal so he could put out another record and like make the move that he wanted to make. So it's like, I don't know, like he doesn't really care about time or like without releasing
Yeah,
music or anything like that.
clearly, unfortunately for us, but man's got to do what he's got to do.
Of course.
Awesome. Well, Samuel, Petra, thank you for joining me for an episode of On That Note, my first artist from Spain. So that's really cool. Everyone needs to go check out
The best
Best
people, bro.
People in Spain. I need to
Of
go check
course.
it out. I've never been. It'd be really fun. But yeah, man, everybody needs to go check out Lavanda, your newest EP, full of bops, and check out your music videos as well. They're so fun. But thank you again, man, for coming on, talking about your creative process.
Thank you for having me, Parker. It was pretty nice.
Awesome. I'm glad you had a great time. All right, Sam. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you,
See
man.
ya. Thank you again for joining me for another episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. If you haven't yet, please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts, and you can even leave a comment down below to let me know who you're listening to. On that note, I'll see you guys next time.